Hey guys, so basically today I thought I would talk about, why I changed my major and then, some of the reasons that maybe you should if you're thinking about changing your major. So my first major was biology. And technically it wasn't like a declared major because I was just taking, or I was just at a community college whenever I was saying, I was a biology major. So whenever I transferred into A&M, I actually applied for nutrition and I was a nutrition major whenever I went there. And I liked the classes and everything, but I just didn't think that, nutrition was something that I was going to do for the rest of my life, like be a nutritionist. So I kind of, I had started working for this apartment complex, and this all kind of like ran together. I worked for them for a little while, and I was kind of feeling, down on myself. Like I was feeling pretty depressed. I was kind of afraid that, I would never amount to anything. And so I ended up changing my major to business. And that was a terrible idea. Don't change your major just because you're like, I'm going to work here for the rest of my life. You're not going to want to do that, probably. At least that was my case. So really, I shouldn't have ever changed my major to business because I hated it. It made my depression worse. Last summer, right before, last semester started, I actually gained like 20 to 25 pounds. And it was pretty terrible. I didn't have a great summer. It was, not good. And then so other things came into account. So medically I decided that, I needed to quit the job that I was in, and I had to, I started commuting from home for a little while. And so I decided, that I needed to pick something that I really wanted to do because I didn't want to keep being a business major. And so, one thing that I have learned is that you should ask yourself, or when you're thinking about what you want to do, trying to figure out your calling, you should ask yourself, what would I do for free? What do I love doing? What am I good at? And what would I do if I didn't have to take anyone else's opinion into account? And so, I still knew that I wanted to work in the medical field, but I knew I didn't want to go to medical school. That was originally why I chose the nutrition degree. Was because, I'm going to go to medical school, so my major doesn't really matter, is what I thought, even though the nutrition major is a great major to have because you can be a nutritionist, you can do a lot with it. But I made that mistake of switching into business. And so I decided, what I really love doing has to do with health and fitness. Like, I work out every day. And so I'm trying to get back, to where I was before I gained all that weight this past summer. I just didn't have a good summer. Depression hit me hard. And I'm not one of those people who's like, I'm not going to eat because I'm sad. I want to eat everything. But basically, I ended up choosing to change my major to kinesiology because I decided, I want to go ahead and apply to PA school. So I want to be a physician assistant because I can still work in the medical field, but, I don't have to go to school for 8 more years after I graduate. And I love kinesiology. I love fitness. I love working out. I love exercise. I love the science behind exercise, so I thought this would kind of give me a good base for being a physician assistant because, I would kind of know, like injuries. You take a lot of classes in kinesiology, you take anatomy, you take physiology, you learn all this stuff, so it still got me to where I needed to be, and it was something that I knew I would enjoy doing. So that's how I ended up, a kinesiology major. That's why I changed my major. So basically, I would say that you should change your major if you're just totally unhappy doing what you're doing. If you don't want to do engineering and you're an engineer and you want to be an English teacher, then you should change your major because you want to do something that you would love doing for the rest of your life. A lot of people say that, you want to make money, right, whenever you graduate, but if you're making all this money and you're not happy doing what you're doing, then it's money really doesn't buy happiness, because if you're unhappy 8 hours a day, 5 days a week at your job, then I mean that stress is going to follow you home, whatever stress you get from that job, if that's not something that you want to do. So I would say, if you're unhappy with what you're in right now, then yes, you should change your major. You shouldn't change your major if you only want to change it because you're struggling with your grades. Nothing worth having, it comes easy. So like, I love science and math classes, but they're hard. I have to work really hard to do good at them, and you're going to have to work hard. If you do want to be an engineer, you're going to have to work hard, and you might not always get the grades that you want, but you shouldn't give up just because, you made a C on a test or you made a D on a test, because you can do better on the next test, and you can increase your grades, and you can always retake classes if you have to. I know it sucks, but if it's something that you want to do, then you need to persevere and push through it and not give up. And so that's just, I wouldn't change my major if it just had to do with my grades. Another reason that you shouldn't change your major is just because, your parents want you to do something. You should do what you want to do, and you shouldn't worry about what anyone else says. And when you're choosing your major, just think about, what do you love doing? What are you good at? What would you do for free? Because that really helps me. And I know it's perfectly fine not to know what you're going to do for the rest of your life at 18, 19, 20. There's really no age limit to decide what you're going to do or what you're good at or what your calling is. You might graduate and still not know what you want to do, and that might be stressful, but you'll find your calling someday. So you just have to look forward to that, and just do whatever makes you happy, and that's all that really matters. So I hope this helped y'all out a little bit, and have a good day.